Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and it's that time of year, boys. Baseball season is over. We're in the middle of July, and we are in a recruiting dead period. Now, we've still got recruiting to cover. We got a lot of commitments coming up over the next 6 to 7 weeks. We'll have you covered right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Had a fun live stream talking recruiting last night, but it is a recruiting dead period. It's when people start to realize, hey, we're right around the corner from football season. 51 days until Tennessee kicks off year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. But not only that, we're just less than 3 weeks. We are 20 days away from fall camp and starting to learn a little bit more about this Josh Heupel football team. I'm excited. I think this is the year. I've said it multiple times. I think it's college football playoff or bust. I think Tennessee has a legitimate shot. I think they've got the talent offensively. I think they've got the talent defensively. I think they've got the coaches to go out and have a special run in 2024 and solidify that Tennessee is back where they belong in the SEC. But it's also that time of the year where fun articles come out, trap games in 2024, big games in 2024. We'll get into it, take a look at a couple of articles. But as always, I need y'all to do the YouTube stuff. Hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I would appreciate it. Also, if it's your first time here, welcome. Look, we're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't try to pretend to be any of that. We're fans, just like you. For the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. 4-star edge rusher Jaden Lofton is going to be in the house talking all things Tennessee football. EA Sports College Football 25 drops next week. I'm going live Monday afternoon, probably 4:30, somewhere around in there. As soon as the game is available, we're going live. We're going to stream all day long, and then Tuesday nights are no longer NCAA nights. Tuesday nights are EA Sports College Football nights. But let's talk about some real football. Again, this is an article from On3. It says Georgia at Alabama, Texas at Texas A&M. Headline, top 10 SEC conference games of 2024. Boys, you want to know how I know that we're back? The national media is talking about James Pierce. The national media is talking about Nico Iamaleava, and On3 is putting out a list of the top 10 SEC conference games of 2024, and Tennessee is 2 out of those top 10. That shows you that we are back where we belong. I'm not going through the whole article. I'm just going to go down and take a look at what games of Tennessee make this list of top 10 SEC games in 2024. And again, it should come as no surprise. Tennessee at Oklahoma on September the 21st. We've talked a lot about this game. I think it is crucial when you pull up the schedule and you take a look at it. And we're talking about college football playoff or bust. We're talking about needing a 10-win season. When you look at where this game falls on the schedule, it is crucial. I think if you beat Oklahoma on the 21st, I think you've got an opportunity to open up this season and roll into that Alabama game at 6-0 with an opportunity to go win 10 football games. And that's part of the interesting part of this matchup, because going into it, Oklahoma plays Temple, Houston, and Tulane. On the flip side of that, Tennessee plays UTC, NC State. We're going to talk about them here in just a second, and also Kent State. So it's the first real test for both teams going into that matchup on September the 21st. On3 says this is a matchup ripe with storyline and intrigue. It's Oklahoma's SEC debut. Something else to take note of, it's former 5-star Nico Iamaleava's first career road start. It's Iamaleava versus Jackson Arnold, another 5-star prospect, 2 sophomore phenoms. The game also centers around the return to Norman for Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, who has a complicated relationship with his alma mater despite winning a national title with the Sooners. He goes on to say the Vols and Sooners are 2 programs with college football playoff hopes in 2024. With a pair of inexperienced quarterbacks in a spotlight game, this could come down to which pass rush can dominate the other team's offensive line. Led by James Pierce, Tennessee had 41 sacks in 2023. That was good for 8th nationally. Oklahoma reloaded at edge via the transfer portal this offseason. We've heard Tim Banks talk about his defensive line and calling it the best defensive line in the country. And when you look at Oklahoma, their over-under win total is set at 7.5. They're looking at 7 wins, 8-win season. I think Tennessee's is at 9.5. I think Tennessee's got more talent. And when it talks about the pass rush being a part of this game, they've got a completely rebuilt offensive line, and they didn't look very good in the spring. They've got a brand new offensive coordinator. Again, Tennessee has one of, if not the best defensive lines in the country. I think that gives Tennessee the advantage going into that Oklahoma game. Now, right now, when you look at the odds, Tennessee is a 5-point underdog. What do you think about Tennessee, Oklahoma? Give me your pick in the comments below. We're going to go roll down here and take a look at the second game. Again, Tennessee's got 2 out of the top 10 SEC matchups this season. I like it. Alabama at Tennessee, October the 19th. This game was the game of the year in 2022. And while the third Saturday in October will be a bit overshadowed by Georgia at Texas, the Tide versus the Vols is still a game that carries serious implications. And again, you say Georgia at Texas. That game could be bigger. What if Tennessee rolls through that first half of the season undefeated when Alabama comes to town? I think all eyes are going to be on Tennessee, Alabama. We are back in the spotlight where we belong. College game day, electric atmosphere. Says by midseason, as Nico Iamaleava settled in as Tennessee's quarterback, as the Tides retooled defense operating under DeBoer's scheme, or just another guy and possibly in danger of losing his job to Ty Simpson, this rivalry game should provide a lot of answers about how the second half of the season might play out for both teams. Again, look. Everybody always talks about Tennessee, Alabama in 2022, right? You look at 23. Look at last year. Tennessee had every opportunity to win that game. They led 20-7 at the half. They finished the game with more total yards. They won the turnover battle. Now you can talk about penalties, right? That's what we as fans do. Alabama had 1 penalty the entire game, and it was a dead ball penalty. That was a stretch. There was a stretch there where Tennessee played in I don't know how many quarters, and the opposing team didn't have one single penalty during live action. Take it for what it's worth. But Tennessee, hey, look, you completely collapsed in the third quarter. That's on you. You didn't have a quarterback that could take over a game. Yeah, statistically looked pretty good in that game, but did he take over a game? Could he put away the game? No, but Tennessee had every opportunity to beat Alabama last season. Obviously, the win in 2022. I think this rivalry is trending back in the right direction. Alabama is a 2-point favorite as of now going into that game. We're going to jump over. We're going to take a look at a different aspect of the schedule, something a lot of you guys like to talk about, and that is trap games. What is a trap game in 2024? Tennessee Vols have 2 big trap games on the schedule that they do need to approach carefully. This is from Zach Reagan over at A to Z Sports. Shout out Zach. Love what he does. He's a great follow on Twitter. But let's talk about the 2 games he is considering trap games. He says, first, there's the game in Charlotte on September the 7th against NC State. It feels like a lot of fans just assume that game will be a win for the Vols, and while I think Tennessee will ultimately end up beating the Wolfpack, it's not an automatic win for the Volunteers. Now, this is a conversation we've had quite a bit on the channel, but for me, when you talk about a trap game, and we're going to get into Mississippi State, I'll go, spoiler alert, Mississippi State game is the next one we're going to talk about. You look at that and consider it a trap game because Tennessee will be favored, and you've got Georgia coming up next. Did Tennessee roll through the first half of the schedule? Did they beat Alabama? Is Tennessee 8-0 when Mississippi State comes to town and you've got Georgia on the road the next week? That's what I consider a trap game. To me, I don't see NC State as a trap game. You're playing UTC prior, you're playing Kent State after. I think NC State's the team you're focused on right there. I don't consider it a trap game, and it scares some people. Some people named Coach Jay are terrified of that NC State game. Tennessee, a 5.5-point favorite. Everybody talks about the tear that NC State went on. I talked a little bit about this in a video last week. NC State's over-under is set at 8.5. They're predicted to finish 5th in the ACC behind Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and Louisville. I don't consider this a trap game. I'm not worried about NC State, but we can go down and we can talk about what does appear to be a true trap game by the definition. And it says here, Mississippi State on November the 9th. Again, this is a game that most have penciled in as a win for the Vols, and on paper, definitely should be a win for Tennessee, especially since Mississippi State will have a first-year head coach at the helm this fall, but it's the first-year head coach, former Oklahoma Sooners offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby. That's the cause for concern in this matchup. So, again, let's talk about Mississippi State. And, again, let's pull up the schedule and take a look where it falls. And I think a lot of it is going to depend on where Tennessee's at. Did you roll through the first half 6-0? Did you drop one to Oklahoma? Did you drop one to Alabama? I think if you got 2 losses, I don't see that as a trap game. But if you're undefeated and you're going on the road to play Georgia the following week, that is a trap game. Again, brand new head coach. They've got a brand new quarterback. They've got unproven wide receivers. They've lost 6 contributors on their offensive line, and they replaced them in the transfer portal. They replaced them with guys from Louisiana, guys from North Texas, Texas Tech, and Memphis. Does that scare you? Does that level of talent going up against James Pierce and what people are calling the best defensive line in the country, does that scare you? Or is this defensive line going to eat? Are they going to feast on Mississippi State? And they look at the defense. They lost 8 starters on defense, 7 out of their 8 leading tacklers. Look, I think Jeff Lebby's probably going to do some good things at Mississippi State, but not this year. I think Josh Heupel's had time to establish his roster, turn over his roster, add enough talent, and I think Tennessee ultimately takes care of Mississippi State. But I thought this was a fun little video to make this morning. Again, still continuing to talk recruiting, but we are in a dead period, so trying to balance that as we move into actual football season coverage. We're going to be covering fall camp. Again, we're going to continue to stream every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Got a fun interview with Jaden Lofton coming up next Wednesday. Working to get Shady Hayward back on the channel, so a lot of fun content coming your way. Make sure you guys smash the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that bell's rung for notifications. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can also become a member of the channel. If you see all these people with power tees beside their name dropping custom Talkin VAWLS emojis in the comments or the chat, that's because they support what we are building right here on the Talkin VAWLS network. You can hit that join button over beside subscribe, or you can jump into the description below. There is a link where you can do that as well. That's going to do it for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the Talkin VAWLS network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.